I'm Jeff, NWLE. I gave this presentation last month in the club I joined in Florida, which is why there is an alpaca here, which they refer to as a llama. They have 3D printers, and they have them from this big down to this big all over the clubhouse. This is about All-Star. And I did this at the beginning of last month down there. I said, okay, I got to refine it, make it a lot better. And I started working on it this morning. Well, late this morning. So, and then I tried to set up a demo. So what is All-Star? It's a voice over IP interconnect system for amateur radio. Based on the Astor's PBX software. Everybody know what a PBX is? Business telephones. Years ago, somebody said, why spend all that money? We can do it in software. And it's pretty cool, but it's very full featured, which can be a problem. You can link repeaters, hotspots, nodes, all sorts of things, conference bridges. Asterisk is open source and free to use, operates over the standard internet, or you could run it over Arden, I guess. Private network links. You register your nodes for free at allstarlink.org. It was created by Jim Dixon, W6JL. First released about 20 years ago, and now it's maintained by the community. I'm going to get this there. Thank you. Out of my way. It's similar to EchoLink, maybe a little more flexible. I haven't used EchoLink a lot, and EchoLink usually runs on Windows. AllStarLink runs on Linux. I don't have a lot of information on IRLP, Internet Relay Linking Protocol, so can't really say much about that. And AllStarLink can call out to EchoLink nodes. This is a snapshot of all the AllStarLink nodes in the US whenever I took that snapshot, late March, early April. That's just the US. So what can you use it for? Personal hotspot. A hotspot is where you take your radio, you talk to a node that connects you to the internet over voice over IP, so you can connect to other things. You can connect to another hotspot. You can connect to repeaters directly. You can connect to repeaters indirectly. This is a setup that I haven't finished that wouldn't work here, where I hope to be able to connect to our repeater, to 9.7 repeater, and so other people can dial into it. And this is basically the same hardware you use for your personal hotspot. A remote base station, so access to the repeater remotely, either with their, sorry. So here's a little picture AI drew for me, where you have a hotspot in the upper left with some radios at the house. And let me, as an aside, the reason I got into this is my office is in the basement, and even though my house has a sort of direct line to 9.7 repeater in Connecticut Hill, it doesn't work from the basement. So I'd like to be able to walk around and listen to the repeater wherever I am in my house. So the idea is I talk to my hotspot, which would be linked to another radio that was where it could connect to the repeater. So like Jerry's EchoLink node. In the future, maybe we'll have All-Star directly into our repeaters. So you don't have two radios. You just have the one. Um, a radio node. So upper right is a radio node. This is the one that it's designed to talk remotely to another um, radio. A repeater node is a direct connection, and then a conference bridge is uh, I don't know if people are familiar with Wires X or any of the other systems where a bunch of people dial in either via radio uh, or virtually, and all talk to each other. That's There's other things you can do with it too. In practice, um, there's nets that occur on AllStarLink, like the Star Trek trivia. You don't have to connect to a repeater; you connect to a net virtually. Remote repeater access, I've covered. Emergency communications, you can use um, for backup linking, All-Star. Um, um, these are just some points I grabbed off the internet, so I can't go into detail on all of them. Club coordination, you can link your repeaters during an event with All-Star or all the time. We can link all our repeaters together and have better coverage. Um, the same thing that um, BON. What's your name? Doug? Doug, sorry. Yeah, the other Doug. Uh, um, has done linking our repeater with Echolink. You can do that. There are people that put a hotspot in their vehicle and connect via their cell phone so they can stay in touch with their local group. Um, there's HubNet UK, East Coast Reflector, uh, nets that you can dial into and see who's there. There's a lot. Everything I get involved in a ham radio, I get a little deeper and I realize the rabbit hole just keeps on going. Um, hubs are always on conference nodes, like the East Coast Reflector. Um, the regional ones, yeah, just more detail on what I just said. So this is HubNet UK, which I listen to fairly often just to listen to all the accents and see if I can understand the Scots. Um, this was all the nodes connected to AllStarLink at some point in time. I think I snapped that. I didn't get it off the net. And those are all repeaters or individuals all over the UK. HubNet also connects via Echolink and other methods. So a little bit about the architecture. Servers run Asterisk, but there's somebody wrote a module for Asterisk called apt RPT for repeater that controls all the connections, uh, ID announcements, all that kind of stuff. Way too many knobs. I've spent hours trying to get things to work. The nodes connect to a radio with an audio interface. In For this radio, this is actually the audio interface. There's a little circuit board here. This node here, which I hope to demo if it works, this is a Raspberry Pi. This is a radio, a little UHF radio with an audio interface. I have a different kind of one of these at home. They make them where it's just a Pi with a little antenna on top. So you take your node, you register it to AllStarLink, and you make connections. Um, then this is where it gets complicated. There's two ways to hook your radio node up. A simple USB, just simple, and USB radio. How much detail do I go into this? Yeah, I lost a lot of time on this, and Jerry can attest to this. Some All-Star needs to know when it's receiving data, which is the CTOSS pin. Some radios have that, some don't. If the radio has it, you can use a simple USB interface, and it's very easy. The reason this usually can plug directly into here. This is a TID Radio H3. I ordered this because it's a firmware version that can send the signal that the carrier is broken, the squelch is broken, out to a pin on this, not the one that it expected. So it had to build a separate cable. That other radio I just had there, it comes over the USB interface. This, the H3 Plus doesn't have that, so it's not a good radio to use. For that, you'd have to use the USB radio interface and tune it so it knew that there's audio on the line. I've wasted hours on that, and it's healed, but banging my head against the desk. As far as mobile radios, some have it. If you have a 6-pin DIN plug in the back, you probably have it. If you don't, it's a problem. And as far as the hardware you're running on, USB radio is actually listening and decoding the audio, and it takes a faster processor. In general, this is a Pi 3. This other one's a Pi 4. I built a node down in Florida that's on a Pi 2W. Anything older than that is too slow. So how do you connect to nodes? People have used Echolink. What is Echolink? 5-digit number? Yeah. AllStar started with 5-digit numbers, and they're running out, so they extended it so you can add a digit on the end. So when you register, you say, I want to extend my address space. And it's just like a phone number. It's only 6 digits. So you dial that, you connect to the other node. They call that NNX. So I have a node number 667340, and that gets me 66734. So that gets me 0 through 9. So I have one at home that's 0. This one's 1. This one's 2, I think. No, I haven't registered this one. And if you need more than that, you can get another account. So the hardware to run it on, a Raspberry Pi, it runs on Linux. Any machine that runs Windows, Intel. Used to be the Pis were cheaper, but due to memory prices, they're getting expensive. So finding an old mini PC and installing it there might be a better option. So there's lots of interface cards. DigiRig is a little bit of overkill because that also can do more control of your radio that this doesn't use. TOTI, I don't know if anybody's ever watched Temporary Offline's videos on YouTube. This is Temporary Offline's something digital. That has 2 boards, and if you connect them, it has a 6-pin for easy connecting with 6-pin radio. The IOC is all-in-one cable, they call it. That's what this board is. I shouldn't have taken it apart. I shouldn't have put it in. Normally, this solders right to 2 plugs, but for this radio, I had to make a special cable. Um, Universal Radio Interface is a company that makes them. There's lots and lots of people that make adapters. I think I have some links. Um, you can technically do it with any radio that has um, a jack, a K1 jack, and a Motorola jack, basically audio output and input PTT. But you definitely prefer one with a COS squelch break signal. There are like hotspot radios. Sherry Pi makes some that are all in one. Pi built in with the radio built in. I was going to buy one of those and show it off. I forgot. So there's software distributions. It used to be HamVoip was the one people preferred, and then ASL3 was released. That's AllStarLink version 3. Um, so ASL3 is getting more attention now. So to set up, I have some slides to show it's pretty easy to set up. Like anything ham related, they want to see your license. So you sign in, get your license verified, then request 6-digit node numbers. Then you want a server and a node. I don't think you need to see all these slides. A little bit of explanation. The Pi is a server. The radio, connecting a radio to it makes a node. A Pi, if it's fast enough, can have several nodes on it, several radios. I was trying to build one at home that has my hotspot and another radio to talk to the repeater. I didn't use the right radio with the signal. Hopefully I'll get that working, so I only need one system running it. So on the web, if you go on the website, you add one server, you can add several nodes to that server, or you could have a server for each node. There's a very detailed installation instructions on how to set it up for a Pi and some other things on that link. Then you connect to your node. You see a screen like this. This button on the left here is the web port admin portable portal, where you can log in and manage your system. You can add accounts. You can update it, change how it's connected to the network. You can get a terminal if you're into managing things with terminals like me. You have to use that to set up credentials for the other part of it, which is managing the node. You also need to do it to set up the connection to the radio. This is where things can be simple or complicated. If you have a radio with the squelch signal, it can be fairly simple in an ASL menu. You set your node number. There's a password on the portal you put in there. You set up the audio interface, and then you go through some steps to check the levels for transmit and receive, and make sure squelch breaks and PTT works and DTMF works. Freddie Mac, another YouTuber, has a good video on setting it up. That's actually linked on the official ASL3 site, and that's what I followed the first time. So once you have your node up, what can you do with it? Well, you can use your radio to connect and dial another node, get status information. Let me see if this will work. I always forget the extra star. And there's no way out of the DTMF menu. So that was this node here, um, identifying because it transmitted something, but it wasn't working. Where it told me something. Sure. So this, I type *70, which says, give me your status. And so that's this node over here responding that I'm not connected to anything. Um, that part went good. Should I try something else? Sorry. So remember to type all the digits. That failed. So I was telling. Nope. So I typed *3 and then the node number 55553, which is a parrot node, into BLB doing a parrot check. I think that breaking up is something with the internet connection here. Um, so uh, there's a central server that does a parrot. It checked my levels and repeated my audio. So I connected. So it actually works. Now I'm doing the disconnect.
Hey Jeff, if you need a demo, we do have on the 6.1 repeater, I've got an All-Star node attached to it. So if you had an HT configured for 6.1, you could probably do those commands through the 6.1 repeater.
I don't have an HT to that's set up to talk to the 6.1. I was gonna try. Now, to use EchoLink, you need to open ports in your router, which we don't have control here. And I think I have EchoLink configured on here, but I haven't opened the ports. Let me. Okay, open that. So UK HubNet is the what I was talking about in all over the UK. Let's connect to one of their nodes. See if anybody's talking.
Six, three, four, two.
Okay, there's also a console where you can there's several, of course, because this is ham radio. Allmon 3 comes with it. It's a simple one. This shows I'm connected. I don't know why it doesn't show that it's UK HubNet. But as I was just reminded, if That's the dual watch on my radio. They're probably all asleep, or they should be. Um, all those commands I was typing in, you can do here. This one is a shortcut for disconnect. Uh,
2, 4, 1.
can't click on that because Zoom is in the way. No, I can't click. There's other things like,
Jeff, can I interrupt you and ask a question?
sure,
So I just started playing around with a Zoom spot, hotspot, and my HT, connecting to some of different reflectors like KC Wide and AmericaLink. How is what I'm doing with that?
okay, was this,
different
is
than
that
your-
Wires X or is that a digital hotspot?
It's a digital hotspot.
Okay, I'm actually, that's coming up.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Sorry to jump ahead.
no problem. There's other things you can do, like at the time of the day.
9.
Let me go back to my presentation. That's how you connect to Echolink, but there's some setup required. Digital radio integration. Look at that. So
plan.
AllStarLink is primary analog FM, but once it gets the radios are analog FM, but once it gets inside or once it's received, it's digitized. There's software called DV Switch that you could run on your node on your server that can bridge you to DMR, D-Star, YSF, etc. So you can connect to anyone. I haven't gotten there yet. You can also get digital hotspots. I think the open spot is which one do you have?
It's a Zoom spot.
Zoom spot, the mic, M1KE. They're all well. The mic isn't a radio. It's a radioless node, which I have something on. The nice thing about All-Star, it's analog, so you can use your Bowfangs. You don't have to buy a digital radio. Then you can connect to digital nets. Now, these are not necessarily the same nets as the vendor nets. Like Wires X is a C4FM net, but YSF is a separate network that uses that protocol, and it's interconnected in some places, but it's not officially Yaesu certified. I don't know how many people are familiar with Wires X 2.0. If you're using 2.0, Yaesu forbids you from connecting to non-Yaesu nets. So KC Wide is not going to upgrade to 2.0 because they have YSF and other things interconnected. So eventually, as I said, rabbit hole, I plan to figure out how to bring up DV Switch and talk to some digital networks. Which the only advantage is everybody sounds a little muffled, but so Allmon 3 you saw over here. It's a simple interface. So Supermon NG, I haven't had time to play with. It's a fancier interface, more buttons. It's got Skywarn, all sorts of stuff. You can control your connections from a browser. You can actually connect to several things at once, and you can interconnect them together. So you've got to be careful not to do that unless you want, because connecting HubNet UK and the East Coast Reflector, people might not appreciate that. So I did the demo pretty much. So radioless nodes. I don't know if people know about Random Wire. It's a weekly newsletter. Um, he played with one just recently. A radioless node is like this, but instead of the radio, it's got a USB interface with a. This one had a Motorola mic. Likes to think, or he mentioned that they're cheaper and higher quality, which I put down here. So you're sort of tied to your unit at your desk, but you don't have to use a walkie-talkie, and it's cheaper. Then there's etiquette. Like a repeater, you listen before connecting isn't the right word. Talking, identify yourself, keep transmission short. When you sign off, say you're signing off. Don't kerchunk, just like a repeater. And don't join conference together or to another node without prior approval. Hamriota Crusader just did his first video on etiquette, and he said, "This is my node. Don't connect to my node when you're connected to East Coast Reflector. That's rude." I'm sure he'll have other ones. So other projects. Ampersand, somebody implemented AllStarLink without asterisk. Asterisk is very powerful, but very complex. I've spent hours tweaking parameters, not having any luck. I just learned about this a week or so ago. I haven't played with it. It might be something that's easier to set up. Resources. This presentation, we'll send a link around. This is just on GitHub, I went to it and clicked on show presentation. AllStarLink .org. Ham Radio Crusader has lots of setup videos. They have Discord and groups.io groups. And these are just some of the hardware you can buy, like the Sherry Pie I was mentioning. Yes, I clicked on it, do something. Nope. There's others there too. Oh, there we go. Sherry Pie, this one connects to a Pi 3. There's one here that looked really cute and I wanted to get it. But the website's slow. Products.
That micronode's a good one. I don't see it up there.
Yeah, I just picked some there. Sherry Pie 0. The internet seems to be a little wonky here today. Loading. Yeah, no. Waiting. I think it's this one just to the right of center. It's all in one, a Pi 0, all built into a node. I saw the one, the Echo Link node you pointed me to. I think they make one. Yeah, that's one you're talking about.
Very nice. You use the internal radio if you're in the area, or you can have it connect to a higher powered mobile unit, reach it from anywhere.
In Florida, the reason I got into this is I wanted to join the net for the club in Florida. I think they had all the pictures. Oh, there's the one you want to fully assemble. All you got to do is give it power. I want to join their net on Sunday night. So I set up an AllStarLink node at their clubhouse with an old Yaesu radio, mobile radio, and a Pi 2W, not in a nice case like this. And the idea is to dial in. When they get internet at their repeater, we'll look at putting a direct access into the repeater controller. And well, I joined ARNet with Echolink when I was down there. Um, back to my presentation. That's it. Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.